Before this review, I knew jack shit about Tomb Raider, since I'd never played a Tomb Raider game prior to this one. There may be small imperfections in this review owed to my novice level experience with the series. If you've got complaints, cram it or comment. Before I jump into this review, let me briefly touch on the history of the Tomb Raider franchise. Don't worry, I'll make it quick. Making its debut in 1996, Tomb Raider grew to be one of the video game mega hits of the last decade, and is known for being quite possibly the largest franchise with a female protagonist. Lara Croft is one of the most iconic characters in video gaming today, and probably the most popular and recognizable heroine in the video game culture, only occasionally perhaps taking a backseat to Samus Aran. Tomb Raider is so big that Lara Croft's adventures span not only several video games, but 2 movies, 3 books, and even a comic, spanning 50 issues. The movies, by the way, are the most monetarily successful video game film adaptations to date. The series involves searching for lost artifacts in some of the world's premier danger zones. I would imagine most of these artifacts are centered around, tombs? Anyways, I know little about the plot of previous games, but that's okay, because this game is basically a reimagined origin story based around Lara Croft herself. Well, I think that's enough background information, so let's see how the game stacks up to the epic promise of Tomb Raider. Right off the bat, I think we can all agree the game looks great. Environments are detailed enough to enjoy the experience. The art style takes the high road when it comes to realism, which is key in a survival game, really. When you're braving the wilderness, you want to be in the midst of an immersive environment, and this game accomplishes that with gusto. Don't you hate it when you love the look of a game, but the controls make you want to spike the controller and chop your hands off? Well, no worries, Tomb Raider ain't that kind of game. At first, the game takes it slow with the control mechanics. So slow, in fact, that I felt like the developers undervalued my intelligence, which is never a good thing. However, it paid off in the long run because from start to finish, I felt like I could fluidly control my character with ease.
Aha! He would want to control a female character because he's part of the patriarchy.
Hey, shut the fuck up. I'm tired of feminists jumping on the Let's Hate Tomb Raider bandwagon. It's a good game, damn it. Now, where was I? Hey, let's talk about the combat. Pretty fucking sweet, right? The clip speaks for itself. Okay, it's time to broaden the scope and talk about the game as a whole. What kind of vibe did I generally get from playing the game? What things did I like? What things did I not like? Well, first I'd like to say that the skill and gear upgrade system is pretty awesome, although it's nothing new. Seems to me that every modern adventure game is picking up some kind of perk system like this. Another thing I loved about this game was the way the designers stylized different puzzle elements. They nuanced certain objects, ledges, and areas with a sort of whitewash in order to hint to the player that these things needed interaction. Of course, it's not really a new innovation by any means, but it does help to guide the player a bit, whereas in games like Uncharted, you're just left to your wits. I found the puzzles in the game to be much less involved than Uncharted, simply because of that small shift in stylization, which I guess may double as a negative, although I want to make a positive mention about the situations and environments the game puts you in, because as you progress, you feel like you are genuinely stranded on an island that is alive and active. It doesn't feel like just another mission, but rather a constant battle with the wilderness, and it's pretty immersive. I mean, it felt like the first time I played Skyrim almost. But alas, the game is not perfect. No game is. Let's talk about some things that pissed me right the fuck off. First, the suspense. While the game did build suspense and managed to hold my attention at times, I find a lot of the action scenes to be lacking. The events that unfold in front of me seem too obvious, and I often find myself predicting what is about to happen and being bang on the money. This happens a lot with me when it comes to action games, so maybe it's just me. Likewise, the story felt a little more to be desired, and I couldn't really detect any plot depth till maybe halfway into the game, and even then I felt like I was longing for it to be better. Another thing that annoyed me was how much goddamn damage Lara Croft took and managed to just shake it off. I know it's a Tomb Raider game, and that's probably how things normally are in the franchise, but in certain times it just got ridiculous. I mean, as in Uncharted ridiculous. I don't think Nathan Drake even took as much of a beating in Uncharted 2 and 3, and he went through some serious shit. I'm sorry for continually referring to Uncharted, but as you can tell, the game bears some pretty large similarities with Uncharted. Overall, my main complaint about the game is that I longed for more literary depth and a more survival-oriented experience, but about 30 minutes into the game, the survival aspect dwindles and is reduced to being a strictly minor part of the game. It's 90% action by the time you get a hold of your first gun. That's not a necessarily bad thing, but personally it left me wondering what could have been, and that's never a positive feeling. Alright, I talked this game up and threw a couple of punches, so is Tomb Raider getting the seal of approval or the stamp of shit? Despite my negative closing comments, I thoroughly enjoyed the absolute hell out of this game, and it's going to take a lot more than a few minor depth gripes to downrate this heavy hitter. Tomb Raider is nothing short from an incredibly satisfying masterpiece that was clearly a labor of love meant to give new life to a popular franchise. Tomb Raider is superb. So, did you like my review? Let me know in the comment section below. I will read your comment, I promise. And if you enjoyed it, give me a thumb up. And if you want to see more reviews in the future, subscribe to our channel. It can't hurt. It never hurts. And, as always, peace.